Jaden walked through the school hallway, his backpack frayed, shoes scuffed, and hoodie a little too thin for the chilly morning. Whispers followed him like shadows. "There goes the homeless kid," someone muttered. He kept his eyes low, not because he was ashamed of who he was, but because he was tired of being judged, tired of being underestimated. He spent most nights at the public shelter, trying to block out the noise of the world as he buried himself in borrowed textbooks. His mother had passed away 2 years ago, and his father had disappeared long before that. Yet, despite the hardship, Jaden was a student who never stopped showing up. He sat quietly in the back of every classroom, pen in hand, mind ablaze with questions and theories. When his science teacher announced the National Science Innovators Competition, the room buzzed with excitement, but not for Jaden. He was just the quiet kid in the corner, barely noticed, never considered competition. But in his heart, a fire lit. The competition's grand prize, a $1 million research grant. While others brainstormed fancy robotics and futuristic apps with their parents' help and expensive kits, Jaden had an idea rooted in necessity: clean water for all. His concept was simple but brilliant: a low-cost, portable water purification system made from recycled and easily accessible materials. He scavenged for supplies: plastic bottles from trash cans, activated charcoal from fish tank filters, fine sand from a nearby construction site. Piece by piece, he built his prototype in the corner of the shelter's common room. Some people laughed at him. Others offered wary glances. But none of it deterred him. He tested, refined, and documented every step of the process. By the time the school-level science fair arrived, he was ready. Or, at least, as ready as someone with no resources and everything to prove could be. He arrived in his one good shirt and the same pair of jeans he wore every day. His presentation setup was modest, dwarfed by classmates with colorful displays and tech gadgets. As he explained how his purifier could help millions, a few students snickered. One even asked if he planned to live off the prize money. But the judges listened. They asked questions. They took notes. Later that day, the results were announced. 3rd place, 2nd place, then silence. Jaden's heart pounded in his ears. 1st place, Jaden Cooper. Gasps filled the gym. Some students looked shocked. One dropped their phone. Jaden stood frozen until one of the judges approached and shook his hand. That moment was the first time in a long time someone looked at him not with pity or suspicion, but respect. His victory propelled him to the state level and then, incredibly, to the nationals. Each time he competed, he refined his pitch. He spoke from the heart. He didn't hide where he came from. If anything, he wore his story like armor. At the National Science Innovators Competition, he stood on a stage flanked by polished contestants in tailored suits. The spotlight hit him like a sunrise. Jaden explained how his project could save lives in communities across the globe. He backed it up with data, real-life testing, and unwavering sincerity. When they announced the winner, his name echoed across the auditorium. Jaden Cooper had done it. Media outlets scrambled for interviews. Local stations praised the homeless genius. Overnight, Jaden became a symbol not just of intelligence, but of grit and compassion. At the press conference following his win, Jaden stood at the podium as microphones pointed toward him. Everyone expected a speech about how his life would change. What he said instead brought the room to tears. "This grant could buy me a new life, but I want to use it to build a better life for others. I'm donating the entire amount to fund science labs and clean water programs in underserved schools. No kid should have to choose between survival and learning." Reporters were stunned. Cameras flashed. Social media erupted. Hashtag Jaden Cooper trended worldwide. What came next was a wave of support. Universities reached out with full scholarships. Scientists offered mentorship. Even a major nonprofit partnered with him to begin installing his purification systems in remote areas. Jaden didn't stop there. He returned to his school and asked to mentor younger students. He led weekend workshops. He helped others submit their own projects. He made the science club cool again. Years later, he stood before a crowd of students at a new lab bearing his name. Behind him hung a photo from the science fair, the same frayed backpack, the same worn jeans, but a look of unwavering belief in his eyes. He smiled. "The world tried to write my story for me," he said. "But I picked up the pen. And you can too." The audience erupted in applause. Jaden's journey from mocked teenager to national hero was more than just a victory. It was a movement. A testament that brilliance isn't born from privilege, but perseverance. And sometimes, the ones we doubt the most are the ones who change the world.